تطهيرا ما صل على محمد وآل محمد. Dearest Mu'mineen, Mu'minat, my youngers, my elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. We have come into the month that is the month of our purpose, the month of our existence, the reason why we were created, and the reason why we are upon this earth. All of this is fulfilled in the month of Muharram. The month of Muharram is that month in which we come together to commemorate, as we know, the tragedy of Karbala. The tragedy of Karbala is something that is etched deep in our hearts. And in these moments, in these occasions, we come together to discuss those matters which are important to us, especially those matters which connect us to Karbala. We know that we are Muslims, we are mu'min, we are the muhib of Ahlulbait, we are the Shia. These are various designations and titles that are given. Not to go into them right now, but all of these become our identity. Another very important identity is the fact that we are the Azadar of Imam Hussein. Being an Azadar of Imam Hussein comes with responsibility and comes with status, comes with benefits, but also comes with burdens. That means that because you are an Azadar, you are expected to behave in a certain way. And that means in this month we are especially expected to behave in a certain way. When one looks upon us, they should look upon us and know that this is an Azadar of Imam Hussein. When one sees our actions, they should look at those actions and they should be able to tell, these are the actions of an Azadar, the expression of Azadar, the words of an Azadar. When they come to your home, they should know that in your home, it seems like it is the home of someone who has lost something great. Have you been to the house of somebody who maybe perhaps had just lost a loved one? Have you been to somebody's house and visited them when their loved one passed away? Have you visited them when before their loved one passed away? You will see a difference in the atmosphere of the house, a difference in the expressions on the faces of the people. But that same person, when you go to their home, you may see happiness, you may see joy, you may see games, you may see television, you may see a lot of things that denote a good time. And you have a good time over there. But when you go over there, when they have lost a loved one, maybe they've lost a parent, maybe a child, maybe a brother or sister, maybe a cousin, maybe an aunt or an uncle. Now when you go to their house does not look the same. The people who are in the house do not look the same. They do not act the same. They do not say the same things. This tells us that there is a very, very important change that occurs within us when we are now in the month of Muharram. That means that we do not laugh like we did until a few weeks ago. We do not crack jokes like we did a few weeks ago. We do not wear the same color clothing that we did a few weeks ago. Now you see us dressed in black. Now you see the sadness upon our face. And this increases until we come to the day of Ashur. On the day of Ashur, we do not smile. We do not wish well for each other. We do not give du'as of mercy and peace. Instead, all we say is, may your grief for Imam Hussein be increased. On this occasion of these 9 days where we will be discussing together in English, I want to reiterate and stress what the management has told me, and I further want to make sure this is clear, that this is an English ashara, if you will call it that, an English ashara. It is not specifically just for the young ones. We have been focusing on the young ones for 2 years, and the young ones are the ones I've seen grow. I've seen them grow before me. I've seen them increase in their iman before me, in the way they recite, in their marifah, in the brightness of their faces, in their intellect, in their wisdom. They are my children, they are your children, and we will continue to address them. But it also becomes very important to realize that the topic that I'm going to discuss is a topic that is for everybody. And that means that some things will be understood by the young ones and some things will not. But this is the way we have always learned from majalis. That means the idea of specifically having discussions for young children is something new in our history. It is not something that we have traditionally done. When we were children, those of your parents and me, and when we were children, we went with our parents to the majalis in Pakistan, in India. I went in Karachi, and when I went to the majalis, the gentleman, the ulama, the one at the mimbar was not addressing me specifically, not making it easier for me, but addressing the whole nation. And whatever I didn't understand, then I asked my parents on the way back, and they explained things to me. That means it is balligh. Balligh is something that is mentioned in the Quran, and it is a command from Allah. Balligh. Have you heard of the word tabligh? Tabligh is a word that we hear about sometimes in Islam, and tabligh means to spread the message. And when we say tabligh, there are those people who spread the message. Have you seen people maybe come to the door and ring on the doorbell and then talk to you about their religion? Have you ever experienced that? Has that happened in your community and in your homes? There are different religions that do this. There are people from Christianity that do this. There are people from Islam that do this. And there are people from other religions as well that will stand on the streets and give out their pamphlets and welcome you. They will say, come to our religion, come to our deen. This is the correct path. Someone will say, let Jehovah save you. Someone will say, let Christ save you. Someone will say, let Islam save you. And whether it's Jehovah's Witnesses, or it's the born-again Christians, or it's the Tablighi-minded people of Islam, they are all doing the same thing, which is balligh. But balligh is a command that in the Quran has been only given once. It has not been given again and again. That means Allah has given many commands in the Quran. He commanded us to pray. He commanded us to do Hajj. He commanded us to fast. He commanded us to give zakat. But in those commands, He did not say balligh. Balligh was a command that was given for a specific thing, one specific thing. The verses that I will focus on today, because my topic is Vilayat of Takwini. Vilayat Takwini. What is Vilayat? What is Takwini? These are things that many of my brothers and sisters and elders especially have heard. But these are things which are rarely discussed now in a language that is English. You will hear about them in Urdu. But in English, we will find that the discussions and the discourses have moved in other directions, which might not be bad directions. We think that all knowledge is good, all aspects of deen are important. But what we must be discussing in the first 10 days of Muharram must be what was the reason for Karbala. The reason for Karbala was not a dispute about Hajj. It was not a dispute about zakat. It was not a dispute about salat, nor was it a dispute about Saum. You know what salat is? You know what Hajj is, right? You know what zakat is? And salat and Saum. And therefore these were not the reasons for dispute in Karbala. You will see that no one asked Imam Hussein, why do you do Hajj like that? Why do you give zakat like this? Why do you pray that way? And why do you break your fast at this time? None of this was a point of discussion. Rather, the discussion was more about when they asked, or rather when Imam Hussein asked, why is it that you wish to martyr me? What have I done? And he said, did I change the laws of my grandfather? Did I change the sunnah of my grandfather? Have I done any harm against you? And the answer to all of these questions was no. You have not changed the laws. You have not changed the sunnah, nor have you done any wrong and injustice against us. It has nothing to do with you, O Hussein. Imam Hussein said, then why is it that you have gathered yourselves and taken out your swords, slaughtered my brothers and my friends and my children, and now are thirsty for my blood? They said but one thing. Umar ibn Sa'd is quoted in the Maqtal as saying, Bughzan li abik. We have hatred for and animosity and vengeance against your father. Amirul Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawat. Now, it is said that at one time the holiest messenger was talking to some people, and he mentioned something, and he said, and this is in Tafsir al-Burhan, it is found in relation to Surah Hud, which is the 11th surah of the Quran. In verses 17, 18 and 19 you will find this hadith, in which it is mentioned that the holiest messenger sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. He said that 5 things were made wajib upon my people. They accepted 4 of them and they rejected the 5th. Someone asked, what were the things that were made wajib upon us? What has been accepted and what has been rejected? He said, Salat, Saum, Hajj, Zakat. He mentioned 4 things: Salat, Saum, Hajj and Zakat. He said these were made wajib and they were accepted. Every one of the Muslims considers Salat and Saum and Hajj and Zakat to be wajib. They consider them as pillars of their faith, as pillars of the acts. We are considered them as the furu' of our deen. They are indeed the branches of your religion. And then he says, he is asked, what is the 5th thing which nobody accepted or very few accepted? He said that is the vilayah of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Amirul Mu'mineen, as-salatu was-salamu alayhi. Humma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. So therefore we see that vilayah is the one thing, the 5th thing that was given, and it was made wajib, it was obligatory, but it was not accepted. That means that from this you realize, from this hadith, that the holiest messenger is saying vilayah is wajib. That means believing in it is wajib, just like salat is wajib, saum is wajib, hajj is wajib, zakat is wajib. And when these things are made wajib and vilayah is made wajib, the other 4 things are actions. Salat is an action. If it is wajib, then you must stand in qiyam and do takbir. And you must go into ruku and sujood and kuhut, and you must recite the dhikr that you are told to recite. This is action. When we say that saum is wajib, this is action. You must make your intention. You must not eat. You must not drink. You must act in a certain way. It brings with it its own obligations. And then after this it is said that Hajj is wajib. Hajj comes with its own actions as well, the arkan of Hajj, which you have to perform if you go on the holy pilgrimage. In the same way, zakat is wajib, and therefore you see that we must be giving zakat. So this is wajib. And there are actions that come with it. So is vilayah only part of your iman, or are there actions that also come with vilayah? And if there are actions that come with vilayah, then what are these actions that come with vilayah? And what are we supposed to be doing if we accept that these are actions? Because vilayah for us is a testimony. That means we believe in our heart that yes, Ali is the wali of Allah. We believe this in our heart. This is part of our Rasul. This is part of our Iman. This is part of our faith. But if we are bearing witness to this, what does it mean for us? What are we supposed to be doing? Because if you look at all 5 of these things, 4 of them are not bearing witness. They are actions. Do you see the difference between an action and a belief? A belief is something that you hold in your heart. An action is something that you do. 4 of these things are things you are supposed to be doing. 1 of them is something you're supposed to be believing. But how is it that you have put them into one sentence? How is the hadith putting all 5 of these things into one? That tells you that indeed there must be some action that is coming with vilayah. There must be something that we are expected to do. Have you ever worked in a coffee shop? Some of you are young and don't have jobs yet, I understand. But that's okay. Maybe one day you will. There is something to be said about this. In our countries, you know, in Pakistan, for example, it's not considered a good thing to be working when you're studying. When you're studying, you study and you don't work. We don't do the menial jobs. Some jobs we consider below us. For us, each job has a status. And with that status, then we will do certain jobs and we will not do certain jobs. That is not the way of Islam. That is the way of our culture. The way of Islam is that to earn halal rizq is the greatest status. It does not matter what you are doing. It does not matter if your job requires you to move your arms, to pick things up, to write with your hand, to think with your mind, to stand and look with your eyes, to clean with your hand, to mop the floor with your hand. It does not matter. Instead, the status is, if you have stepped out of your house for rizq halal, you are now a mujahid of Allah. And you are someone who is going for that which Allah has commanded you. Therefore, in summer, if you take a job that is working in a coffee shop, if you take a job that is working in sales, if you take a job that is anything, you'll find that you might not even have to sign a contract. Some jobs you don't even sign a contract, you do the job. You come in and say, hey, okay, I'll be doing this. Okay, you stand over here, take care of the cash register. Do you know how to do this? No, okay, let me show you. Press this. There you go. Take out the money, put in the money, press enter. This is what you'll be doing all day. Go to it. That's it. Sometimes what will happen is you might have a contract you have to sign. So what happens is you sit down, you get an orientation. It's a multinational corporation. Now you're going to have benefits and vacation, and now you're going to sign a contract, and that contract has certain requirements, and now you are done. Have you ever seen the job where you have to make a testimony and bear witness? That means you have to raise up your hand and say, I bear witness. Have you seen the medical practitioner before they get their degree? The doctor, before they get their degree, they have to hold up their hand and they have to bear witness. The police officer will have to bear witness. The judge will have to bear witness. I don't know, maybe the lawyer too. I'm not aware of some of these things, technicalities, I'm guessing, will have to bear witness. If you don't have that job, but you're going to go into a court of law and you're going to bear testimony, then you have to bear witness. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Before you would say, so help me God, in these Western countries. Now we don't believe in God, it's out of style, so I don't know. Before there would be a Bible or a holy book, and you would put your hand on the holy book and you would say, I swear by this. And now you are swearing by that which is holier than you. That means you always bear witness to an ideal. The ideal of truth, the ideal of justice. Do you have a job in this world right now? Even though, no job right now? Oh, you don't have, you're not getting a paycheck, you don't have to go every day, but you do have a job. You actually are employed right now. That means whether you're 10 or 12 or 8 or 6 or 4, you are employed. You are in the employment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have a job in this world. What is a job? A job is basically something that you get hired to. When you get hired, what's the first condition of the job? Is that you accept it. You say, I accept this job. You have to accept it. When you accept the job, then what happens is you are told, okay, if you have accepted this job, now you must behave in this way. That means when you are on duty and you are standing at Tim Hortons and you're giving out coffee, you should not be on Facebook. You should not be on Insta, TikTok, WhatsApp, this, that, falana, dhamkana. You should not be on any of those things. You should not be talking to your friends. You should not be joking around. You should be doing your job. Because that's your job. You have punched in, now do your job until you punch out. So is there a job that you have accepted in this world without even knowing that you have a job? When you say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, you have borne witness and you have accepted a job. You have accepted and testified that I bear witness there is no Allah. There is no ilah except Allah. There is no God but Allah, and no one is a partner with Him in being God. Now that you have accepted this, then you say, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. And I accept that Allah who has sent the holiest messenger as His prophet. Wa ashhadu anna aliyan waliyullah. And I accept that Ali is the wali of Allah. He is the successor of the Prophet. Wa khalifatahu bila fasal. And he is the next in line, my leader, my Maula, my master, wali of Allah, hujjat of Allah, wajhullah, jambullah, asadullah, ainullah. Now when you have accepted all of these things, now you have a job. And that means you are expected to behave in a certain way. You are expected to do certain things. The first condition of a job is that you have to accept the job. The second condition is that you have expectations of you. Are there not expectations of you as a Muslim, as a mu'min, as a muhib, as a Shia? There are definitely expectations of you. Who is your boss? Allah is your boss. But Allah is not going to come and show you Himself. Then who is the one who will come and show you Himself? Your Imam. So your Imam becomes your boss. Now your Imam is your boss, and you are expected to behave in a certain way. What else happens in a job? In a job you get paid. Are you getting paid? No. What about the thawab you get from salah? The thawab you get from reading the Quran, the thawab you get from coming to Farsh Aza, from helping your parents, from loving a sibling, from being kind to your neighbors. All of this is payment. But you're not seeing it right now, that's all. Your parents, when they work, every 2 weeks or 4 weeks, paycheck arrives, they look at their pay and they see it. And that motivates them to go back to work. You're just not seeing your paycheck, that's all. You're not seeing it, but the account is there. And that account is filling and filling and filling. And on the Day of Judgment, when you look at that account and that balance, you will be amazed. You will say, wow, I had no idea that this was the pay for this. I didn't know. Because the pay for something is incredible. You know, one time there is a woman who is in Medina. And she comes to ask questions from the beloved daughter of the holiest messenger, Bibi Fatimatul Zahra, Salamullah alayha. And she says, I have some questions for you, and she asks her many questions. One of them, for example, she says, what is the house that is most loved by Allah? And Bibi answers, the house in which there are the women who do hijab. This is the house most loved by Allah. Then she asks, tell me, how far is Jannah from me? She says, it is 2 steps from you. The daughter of the messenger says, it is 2 steps from you. She says, how is it 2 steps from me? The daughter of the messenger says, 1 step is on your nafs, the 2nd step is in Jannah. So 1 step on your nafs, you must step on it. When you have stepped on your nafs, now the 2nd step is in Jannah. Do you know what it's like to step on something? Have you ever stepped on something, not accidentally? I mean, like you put something on the floor and you trample it. No? Have you ever seen anybody do that? Why do they do that? What is the purpose of that? I have a Momin friend in a different country and city actually, but he has a doormat, and on that doormat there are certain, letters written. I won't go into more detail. And he steps on that every time when he goes into his home. And so that's his, that's his barakah, that's his sawab. But why is he doing it? He's doing it because he feels that some things are worth stepping on. Have you seen the one who wants to insult Islam? We see it in videos. Videos go viral. Someone wants to insult Islam. What do? One thing they do is they burn the Quran. They burn it. They consider that as an insult. They don't know that when we have a page of the Quran and we don't know what to do with it, then one of the things we are told is to incinerate it so that there's no more disrespect for it. We don't consider that as disrespect. Another thing they do is they throw the Quran, na'uz billah, on the floor, and then they step on it. So these videos are out there. Why are they doing that? To insult it. So therefore, if you are being told to step on your nafs, do you see the hatred that must come with it? Do you see the anger or the need to trample this nafs and show it what it really is? Insult it in a way. That means we don't obey the nafs, but we insult it. And once we've insulted it, now we step upon it. And now our 2nd step is in Jannah. So it's so easy. Bibi says it's 2 steps away. The lady goes on to ask question upon question, but at one point she gets a little embarrassed. And she says to the holiest daughter of the holiest prophet, she says that, I don't want to bother you now. I feel I have asked too many questions. The daughter of the prophet says that if you knew how much reward Allah gives to the one who answers the question, you would never worry about you being a burden upon me. You would never worry if you knew how much pay there is. When you start getting a paycheck, then, you might earn minimum wage, maybe. That's a common thing that we earn. Let's say someone's earning $15 an hour. Someone's earning $20 an hour. What's going to happen? There's certain things you have to do at $20, $30 an hour. But if you're told to do too much, you might say, whoa, you don't pay me that much. I'm not doing this. You pay me enough to do this. I'm going to take care of this. Don't ask me for more. What if they say, okay, I'll pay you $50 an hour? You say, I know that's okay, but yeah, that's pretty good. Then you might do some things, but what if they tell you, okay, I want you to construct another office for me day and night. I want you to spend 2 years from morning till night all the time making this building. You're going to do it alone. I'm going to pay you $50 an hour. After a few days, you might say, I don't know, this is not worth it. I can't do this. Maybe they'll pay you 100, maybe 1,000. What if someone's paying you $1 million an hour? Then, at what point do you start to realize that, okay, the pay can be so much that even the hardest job becomes easy? Bibi is saying that if you had any idea about how much you get paid when you learn about Islam, when you teach about Islam, when you ask questions, when you answer questions, then everything becomes easy for you. You do it quite happily. Look at the one who is not happy in their job. Their complaint is, I get paid this much and I have to do all this. This is frustrating for me. Look at the one who's getting paid too much for their job. They're very happy and content. They're saying, yeah, that's a lot, but you got to see how much they pay me. So this is nothing compared to what I actually get paid for this. So the idea of sawab is it's the greatest paycheck ever. It is not something that we can actually imagine. So therefore, when we look upon our life, we have been hired. We do have expectations. We have a job description, and we do have a pay as well. And our Imam is paying us all the time. When the holiest messenger was asked about what is the fifth thing, which nobody follows or very few people follow, he said it was wilaya. And then he quotes this verse and he says, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمَ مِمَّنِ افْتَرَى عَلَى اللَّهِ كَذِبًا. This is Surah Hud, Surah number 11, verse number 18, 11:18. And when he recounts this verse, he says in 11:18, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمَ. And who is the greater zalim? Who is the biggest zalim? Who is more zalim than the one who attributes lies to Allah? So now Allah is telling us what is the greatest zulm. The Quran is saying this, not me, not you, not anybody else. Allah is saying this is the greatest zulm. How many zulm do you know of? Can you count the zulm in your mind? Murder, lying, cheating, stealing, backbiting, being disloyal, wishing ill for somebody, not fulfilling the rights of somebody. There's so many things you can do that is considered zulm. But what is considered the greatest zulm, according to this verse? The greatest zulm is the one who attributes lies to Allah. And when does the Holy Prophet quote this verse? After he says that all those people who denied the wilaya of Amirul Mu'mineen, they are the ones who are committing the greatest zulm. That means the biggest zulm is denying the wilayat of Amirul Mu'mineen. This is a strange, very strange verse to be quoted here, because there's so many different things that are zulm. According to Allah, what is the greatest deen? Because this is the greatest zulm. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ Surah An-Nisa. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ دِينًا. Who has the greatest religion? First we quote the greatest zulm. The greatest zulm is saying that Allah did not make the wilaya of Amirul Mu'mineen wajib upon everybody. This is the greatest zulm. To say this lie is the greatest zulm. And then وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ دِينًا مِمَّنْ أَسْلَمَ وَجْهَهُ لِلَّهِ. And who has the greatest deen? 4125. Who has the greatest deen but the one who submits his face for Allah? Submits his face, it is being said. It is not being said the one who does sajda, nor the one who does ruku, nor the one who does qiyam, or does hajj, or gives zakat, or does sawm or salat. No, the one who submits his face to Allah. Not his head, not his body, but his face. That means that submitting your face to Allah is the greatest deen. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ دِينًا مِمَّنْ أَسْلَمَ وَجْهَهُ لِلَّهِ وَهُوَ مُحْسِنٌ. And he is the muhsin. وَاتَّبَعَ مِلَّةَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ. And he is following the nation of Ibrahim. وَاتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ خَلِيلًا. And indeed Allah is the one who has made Ibrahim his friend. There is no reason to mention the fact that he has been made his friend right now, but Allah is giving you reward and giving you motivation, saying that, look, if you submit your face for me, not to me, but for me, lillah, for me, then you are the one who has done good. You are from the nation of Hazrat Ibrahim, and also you are my friend. I will make you my friend. So therefore it is about submitting the face. But when we submit our face, how do we submit our face to Allah? How do you submit your face to anybody? If you are going to submit your face to somebody, the first thing you will do is you will have to look at their face. That means when one face faces another face, that is when submission will occur. That's why it did not say sajda. Sajda could be done anywhere. You can do sajda here and in the direction of the qibla, and your sajda is accepted. But when we are going to submit our face, this is not sajda. That means that now what we are doing is we are looking for the face of Allah so that we can submit our face to the face of Allah. That means that this makes it incumbent upon us to find out what is wajhullah. Because the Quran in Surah Rahman says, Kullu man alayha fan. Everything will perish. وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ. But the Rabb of the chihra of your Rabb, the face of your Rabb, wajhu rabbika dhul jalali wal ikram. This is the thing that will remain, the face of Allah. Why did it not say Allah? Why does it say the face of Allah? Because Allah is of course going to remain forever anyway, but Allah is not mentioning him, he is mentioning his face. It could have said, وَيَبْقَى رَبُّكَ. And will remain your Rabb. وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ. Will remain the face of your Lord. Makes it incumbent upon us to go and find what is this face. Because if you find the face of your Lord, what is your face? When you look at your face, do you realize how amazing your face is? Your face is an incredible structure. It's not a I don't know what to call it biologically. This is not an organ, this is many organs. This is not a system, there are multiple systems. This is an amazing structure. It has been put at the top of your head, or rather at the top of your body. That means the face could have been here. That would have been a good place for your face, maybe right here, right over here. And this way then it's not going to, the sunlight is not going to hit it right away. If something's falling on your head, it won't hit your face. It's right over here, it's protected. This is where you have your qalb. This is where you have your fuad. You have your heart here. You have your metaphysical heart here. You have your ruh here. This is the center of your body. Why not put the face here? But no, it was put on the top. Well, you could ask the same question of the CEO of any fancy building. Go downtown to RBC, TD, Scotia Bank, CIBC, all these big multinational corporation buildings. Why isn't the CEO on the ground floor? Why does the CEO always want to be on the top floor? Why is the top floor of any building the penthouse and the most expensive part of that building? Sometimes it's twice as expensive as the others. They say because this is the top. This is the best view. This is where the senior command is. Why is it that Allah chose that we should look to the sky when we pray to him? Is not Allah here in front of me? Is he not closer than my jugular? Is he not below on the floor? No? Is he everywhere? Is Allah everywhere? Yes. Is he on my left side? Is he on my right side? Is he in front of me? Is he behind me? Is he within me? Is he outside of me? He is everywhere. Did not Amir al-Mu'mineen say that I do not believe in the Allah, or I have seen every entity? Amir said, every shay that I have seen Allah in front, behind, on the right, on the left, above, below, inside and outside. Everywhere. He is everywhere. Now how does Amir al-Mu'mineen see with his heart? That is known to him. But if He is everywhere, then why do I look up and say, Ya Allah? Why were we not commanded to look down and say, Ya Allah? Are we denying that He is down here when we look at Him up there? Am I saying that, oh Allah, you are up there, therefore you are not down here? Did this not lead to some religions thinking that Allah is sitting on a chair in the sky? Some people believe He's sitting on a throne somewhere in the sky. Even almost from every religion, you have sects that believe this. Even in Islam, you have the sects that believe Allah will be sitting on the chair on Yawm al-Qiyamah. He will be sitting in a chair and He will be passing judgment. It is only the Shia that know that Allah will not be seen with these eyeballs. We are the ones who accept that. Therefore, if Allah is everywhere and we are praying above, that means there is something superior about being above, and your face has been put here. Did you know that your brain controls your body, but in your brain the biggest area for control is given to your face? That means you would think that your punch is stronger than your face, so your punch should have more control. Your leg can kick the soccer ball across the pitch. It can make you jump in the air very high. You can lift lots of weight with your hands, but your brain does not dedicate that much control to this, or to this, or to this, but the most control dedicated to this. That means this is where you have the most finesse, the most muscle control and precision is here in your face. And that is because your face will show me things that 1,000 words cannot show. You can talk about whether you are sad or you are happy for hours and hours. And maybe even then you won't complete the story. But I just one look upon your face and it tells me everything. It tells me you are listening. It tells me you are not listening. It tells me you are interested. It tells me you are bored. It tells me you want to be here. It tells me you were forced to be here. It tells me you are happy. It tells me you are sad. It tells me you are fearful. It tells me you are hopeful. It tells me you are confident. It tells me you are shy. Do you see how many things your face can express? The more you have within you, the more will be expressed on your face. How much does Allah have within Himself? How much knowledge is in Allah? How much is in Allah? And how should that face be, which will express everything that Allah wants to be expressed? This is called the Wajhullah. And the Wajhullah is the face of Allah. That means now I don't have to ask Allah if He is happy with me. If my Imam is in front of me, I have to look upon his face. If Allah is happy with me, my Imam will smile at me. If Allah is angry with me, my Imam will not smile at me. If Allah is proud of what I have done, the Imam will look upon me with pride. If Allah is ashamed, the Imam will look upon me with shame. So now you have but you might say, but what do? We don't see our Imam's face right now. We are waiting for the Zuhur. Where is our Imam and how do we see his face? And the answer is very simple to that. The answer is that Allah said that if you accept the deen, then you must love Al-Qurba. And if you love Al-Qurba, then I will put her love within your heart. And if I put her love within your heart, then you will know. You will not feel Allah. He is not something that will be felt in emotion. He does not come with an emotion. But what He does is He puts the emotions for the Ahlulbait in your heart. When you have their love in your heart, you know that Allah loves you. How will you know how much Allah loves you? The more you love Sayyida Zahra. The more you love her, the more Allah loves you. How do you know that your prayer was accepted? If you feel an increase in that love. If every year when you come to the Farshaza, you feel an increase in this love, then this love is telling you that indeed Allah is loving you as well. We do not need to wait for Yawm al-Qiyamah to get the result. We are those students who walk out of the exam. The Shia of Ali are those students who walk out of the exam and they know how they did. Have you seen a classroom, an examination hall? Some students come out and they say, I don't know how I did, I have no idea. Some students come out and say, I know I got 3 questions wrong. And they know which ones they got wrong. The good student is very good at self-analysis. And that's why the Shia of Ali are always analyzing themselves to see, has my love for Sayyida Zahra increased? If it has increased, 1. Who is this lady? This lady is the one who has left with her son and the kafila. She is behind them. She is walking behind them slowly and surely. کہا تھا کہ سید الشہداء رسول کی قبر پہ بھی گئے, بھائی کی قبر پہ بھی گئے, لیکن ایک مرد مجاہد کی طرح گئے کہ سر اٹھا ہوا تھا, سینہ تنا ہوا تھا, آرام آرام سے چل کے گئے ہیں. لیکن مدینے نے دیکھا کہ جس وقت اپنی ماں کی قبر پہ امام علی مقام جا رہے تھے تو کہا کہ تیز قدموں سے دوڑتے دوڑتے, کہا کہ اس طرح سے لپٹ گئے قبر سے جیسے بچپنے میں حسین اپنی ماں کی آغوش میں آتے تھے. اسی آغوش کو امام علی مقام عاشور کے دن بعد عصر ڈھونڈیں گے جب زین سے زمین پہ آ رہے ہوں گے. بی بی نے جب اپنے بیٹے کو الوداع کہا تو الوداع کہا ہی نہیں, ساتھ ساتھ پیچھے پیچھے کہا کہ ایک سیاہ پوش بی بی اس قافلے کے ساتھ چل رہی تھیں کہ وہ قافلہ جب پہنچا ہے ایک مقام پر اور امام کا گھوڑا آگے نہیں بڑھتا تھا تو امام نے کان میں کچھ کہا گھوڑے سے, گھوڑا پھر بھی آگے نہیں بڑھا. بعض روایات میں حجت تمام کرنے کے لیے یہ بھی لکھا گیا کہ ایک کے بعد ایک گھوڑا بدلا ہے. یقیناً امام کو معلوم تھا کہ یہ وہی جگہ ہے, لیکن امام حجت تمام بھی کرتے ہیں. جب دیکھا کہ کوئی سواری امام کی آگے نہیں بڑھ رہی, امام نے کہا کہ یہی وہ مقام ہے جہاں ہمارے خیمے لگائے جائیں گے. اس وقت ایک بی بی محمل میں بیٹھے ہوئے پردہ ہٹاتی ہیں. چوں ہی ہوا چلتی ہے اور ریت اڑ کے بنت علی کے چہرے مبارک پر آتی ہے, بی بی رو کے فضا سے کہتی ہیں کہ اے فضا جلدی سے میرے بھائی کو بلاؤ. بھیا حسین فوراً حاضر ہوتے ہیں. اس وقت بی بی کہتی ہیں حسین بھیا یہاں سے چلیے, یہاں نہ رکیے. کہا کیا بات ہے زینب, ایسا کیوں کہہ رہی ہیں؟ کہا بھیا ابھی یہ آندھی چلی ہے اور جب یہ ریت میرے چہرے تک پہنچی ہے میں نے اس ریت میں آپ کے خون کی بو کو سونگھا ہے, آپ کی خون کی خوشبو آتی حسین, یہاں سے چلیے. کہا کہ زینب یہی وہ جگہ ہے جس کے بارے میں بابا ہمیں بتایا کرتے تھے, یہی وہ جگہ ہے جہاں میرے عباس کے بازو قلم ہوں گے, یہی وہ جگہ ہے جہاں ہمارے چھوٹے چھوٹے بچے شہید ہوں گے. جب یہ کہہ دیا تو بی بی نے سر تسلیم خم کیا. کہا بھیا جو اللہ کو منظور, میں آپ کے ساتھ ہوں اور میں آپ کا ساتھ دوں گی. کہا زینب پیغام پہنچانا ہے. کہا جو کربلا میں ہوگا وہ کوفے تک پہنچانا ہے, شام تک پہنچانا ہے. کہا بھیا میں تو حاضر ہوں, یہ روز ازل سے زینب آپ کے ساتھ ہے. امام حسین نے حکم دیا کہ جا کے جو قریب میں قبائل تھے ذرا بنی اسد کے ان کو بلا لیا جائے. جب بنی اسد کے قبیلے والے آئے تو امام کی مسند بچھائی گئی, سامنے بیٹھے ہوئے تھے, کہہ رہے تھے سلام ہو آپ پر اے رسول کے نواسے, ہماری جانیں آپ پہ قربان, آپ ہمارے علاقے میں آئے یہ ہمارے لیے فخر ہے. لیکن مولا یہاں پہ جو بھی نبی آیا کوئی نہ کوئی مصیبت آئی, کوئی نہ کوئی ٹھوکر کھائی, کوئی نہ کوئی زخم کھایا. کہا مولا یہاں پہ انبیاء کو اور اولاد انبیاء کو یہ جگہ راس نہیں آتی ہے, اب جلد از جلد یہاں سے تشریف لے جائیے, آپ جہاں بھی جا رہے ہیں یہاں زیادہ دیر قیام نہ کیجیے. کہا اے بنی اسد میں یہاں پہ قیامت تک کے لیے قیام کرنے کے لیے آیا ہوں, میں تو یہاں پہ ہمیشہ سونے کے لیے آیا ہوں, مجھے اتنا بتاؤ کہ اس جگہ کا نام کیا ہے. کسی نے کھڑے ہو کے کہا اس کو نہنوا کہتے ہیں. امام نے کہا بے شک کہتے ہیں, ایک اور نام ہے اس سے پرانا. کہا اس کو ماریا کہتے ہیں. کہا بے شک کہتے ہیں. کہا اس سے کوئی پرانا نام. کہا اس کو شاط الفرات کہتے ہیں. کہا بے شک کہتے ہیں, مجھے یہ نام نہیں اس سے پرانا نام بتائیے. جب کوئی نام نہیں مل رہا تھا. امام نے کہا مجھے ایسا معلوم ہوتا ہے تمہارے درمیان ایک بزرگ بھی ہوتے ہیں جو یہاں تشریف فرما نہیں ہے. کہا ہمارے سب سے ضعیف جو ہیں ان کو بلایا جائے. کہا ایک شخص کو اٹھا کے لے آئے. جب لے آئے رسول کے قدموں میں گر کے کہتے ہیں اے اولاد نبی آپ یہاں سے چلے جائیے, یہاں پہ ہمارے آبا و اجداد نے بتایا ہے کہ انبیاء کو یہ جگہ راس نہیں آتی ہے. کہا بتاؤ تو نام کیا بتایا؟ کہا اس زمین کا نام ہمارے آبا و اجداد نے بتایا ہے, کرب و بلا کہتے ہیں اس کو. امام نے کہا ہاں کرب و بلا. کہا یہی وہ جگہ ہے. اس کے بعد امام نے جو ہے کہا یہ زمین ہم خریدنا چاہتے ہیں. کہا کہ زمین؟ کہا مولا آپ کو ہم کیا زمین بیچیں گے, یہ زمین آپ لے لیجئے. کہا نہیں ایسے نہیں. کہا ہم خریدیں گے. جب خریدنے کی بات آئی تو دیکھا بی بی فضہ آئیں. کہا کہ مولا حسین آپ کی بہن کہہ رہی ہے کہ وہ بھی اس زمین کو خریدنے میں آپ کی شریک ہونا چاہتی ہے. کہا کہ رقم دی گئی امام حسین اور بی بی زینب کی طرف سے. کہا بھائی نے بہن کی طرف دیکھا اور کہا کہ کیا نام رکھنا چاہیں گی آپ اس جگہ کا؟ کہا یہ جگہ کرب و بلا ہی رہے گی لیکن ایک اور نام اس کا میں جاگیر علی اکبر رکھوں گی, یہ علی اکبر کی جاگیر کہلائے گی قیامت تک. کہا کہ اس کے بعد امام حسین نے ان کو کہا کہ تم سب جاؤ لیکن باری باری میرے پاس آنا. امام نے سب کو دور کر دیا. اس کے بعد مردوں کو بلایا. جب مرد قریب آئے تو مردوں سے کہا کہ دیکھو یاد رکھو کہ ایک یہاں پہ 10 دن کے بعد جو ہے یہاں پہ ایک ہفتے کے بعد ایک جنگ ہوگی. اس جنگ میں ہم سب کے سب شہید کر دیے جائیں گے. تم سے ایک ہی گزارش ہے کیونکہ یہ زمین ہم نے خرید لی ہے ہم واپس آپ کو ہبہ کرتے ہیں. یہ زمین آپ کی ہوئی بس کچھ شرائط ہے. کہا مولا حکم کیجئے. کہا دیکھو اس زمین پر زوار جو ہیں بڑی تعداد میں صدیوں تک آتے جائیں گے. جب بھی میری قبر کی زیارت کے لیے کوئی مومن یا مومنہ آئے تو ان کو تم 3 دن تک مہمان ٹھہرانا. ان کے رہنے کی جگہ ان کے کھانے پینے کا انتظام تم پر میں نے لازم کر دیا ہے. کہا مولا ہم کیا ہماری نسلیں بھی آپ کے زائرین کی خدمت کریں گی. آج بھی چاند نکلنے سے پہلے بنی اسد کے قبیلے لبیک یا حسین لبیک یا زہرا کہہ کے پہنچ جاتے ہیں زائرین کی خدمت کے لیے. کہا ایک اور التجا ہے اس حسین کی. کہا کیا التجا ہے؟ کہا میں رسول کا نواسا ہوں نا. کہا بالکل ہے. کہا بس یہی التجا ہے کہ تم لوگ جو ہو جب ہماری لاشوں کو صحرا میں بکھرا ہوا دیکھو, سر برہنہ دیکھو, سر بریدہ دیکھو, اس وقت جو ہے تم ہم کو دفن کر دینا. کہا کہ ٹھیک ہے مولا ہم حاضر ہیں ہم دفن کر دیں گے. کہا اب تم یہاں سے چلے جاؤ اور جا کے اپنی عورتوں سے کہہ دو کہ زہرا کا بیٹا ان سے کچھ کہنا چاہتا ہے. پہلے اپنے آپ کو نواسے رسول کا, اب کہا کہ دیکھو اے بنی اسد کی عورتوں انا حسین ابن فاطمہ, میں فاطمہ کا بیٹا حسین ہوں. ہو سکتا ہے تمہارے مرد جو ہیں ڈر جائیں فوج کی خوف سے, ہزاروں لاکھوں کا مجمع ہوگا, شاید وہ نہ آئے قتل ہونے کے ڈر سے. اس وقت جب تم ہماری لاشیں اڑیاں دیکھو اور خاک و خون میں غلطاں دیکھو, اس وقت تم آ کے شاید فوجی تم پہ ظلم نہ کرے, تم ہمارے دفن کا اہتمام کر دینا. سب نے وعدہ کیا. کہا اب تم بھی جاؤ اور ایسا کرو اپنے بچوں کو بھیج دو. ہائے یہ حسین کی غربت ہے عزاداروں. یہ وہی حسین ہے کہ جس وقت لاشا علی اکبر بابا سے اٹھتا نہ تھا تو حسین نے غربت کی ایک صدا دی تھی کہ اے بنی ہاشم کے بچوں آؤ, بوڑھے باپ سے جوان بیٹے کا لاشا نہیں اٹھتا ہے. ایک غربت کی صدا حسین نے اس وقت دی تھی جب کہا تھا حل من ناصر ینصرنا, اور ایک غربت کی صدا حسین نے چھوٹے چھوٹے بچوں کو جب سامنے پایا تو بچوں سے کہا کہ بچوں دیکھو میں سکینہ اور علی اصغر کا بابا ہوں.
سکینہ اور علی اصغر کا بابا ہوں، اور تم سے ایک گزارش ہے حسین غریب کی کہ اگر میں شہید ہو جاؤں اور تمہارے والد تمہارے باپ بھی ڈر جائیں آنے سے میدان جنگ میں، تمہاری مائیں بھی نہ آ سکے میدان جنگ میں، تو دیکھو بچوں کو تو کوئی کچھ نہیں کہتا ہے نا. ہائے یہ ایک امید بھی اس میں حسین کی ہے، حسین غریب کی امید. آپ دیکھ رہے ہیں کہ چھوٹے بچوں کو تو کچھ نہیں کہتا ہے، سامنے امام دیکھ رہے ہیں سکینہ کو تماچے پڑیں گے، باقر کو تازیانے مارے جائیں گے، ارے علی اصغر تیر کھائے گا، لیکن ایک امید سمجھ لیجئے، ارے ایک حسرت سمجھ لیجئے اس شہید کی جس کو سید الشہداء کہا، جس کو رولا رولا کے مارا کہ چھوٹے چھوٹے بچوں کو تو کوئی کچھ نہیں کہتا ہے. ارے حسین جانتے ہیں مسلم بھی شہید ہو چکے، ارے طفلان مسلم کو بھی نہیں چھوڑا ہے، پھر بھی کہہ رہے ہیں کہ دیکھو چھوٹے چھوٹے بچوں کو تو کوئی کچھ نہیں کہتا ہے نا، تم آنا کھیلنے کے بہانے سے ہماری لاشوں کے قریب آ کے کھیلنا اور ریتی اٹھا اٹھا کے ہماری لاشوں پہ ڈال دینا. فَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ أَلَا لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. ماتم حسین.
عباس مر گئے علی اکبر جدا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا. عباس مر گئے علی اکبر جدا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا. عباس مر گئے علی اکبر جدا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا. عباس مر گئے علی اکبر جدا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا. جب خون دل سے داغ پہ سر دھوتے تھے حسین، لاشوں کے بیچ تنہا کھڑے روتے تھے حسین. عباس کو پکار کے جان کھوتے تھے حسین، اکبر کی لاش سے نہ جدا ہوتے تھے حسین. فریاد تھی کہ ٹکڑے دل مصطفیٰ ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا. عباس مر گئے علی اکبر جدا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا. یوں بے کسی کو عالم غربت کا گھر ملا، مجھے کو میرے بڑھاپے میں داغے پہ سر ملا. غائل سنا کی نوک سے نور نظر ملا، کیوں کر ہمارے زانوں پہ بیٹے کا سر ملا. ہم دیکھتے ہی رہ گئے سینہ چدا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا. عباس مر گئے علی اکبر جدا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا. صدموں کا درد مثل قیامت گزر گیا، ہم لٹ گئے یہ غم ہمیں برباد کر گیا. پرچی کا پھل ہمارے بھی دل میں اتر گیا، آخر طرف طرف کے جوالال مر گیا. ارماں ہمارے جینے کا بے آسرا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا۔ عباس مر گئے، علی اکبر جدا ہوا،
ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا۔
جس کا ضعیف باپ ہی مر جاتا ہے یہاں، دیتے ہیں لوگ اس کو دلا سے تسلیاں۔ مارا گیا بھی میرا فرزند نوجوان، لیکن سپاہ شام نے تانی ہے برچیاں۔ یہ تعزیت کا حق بھی انوکھا ادا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا۔ عباس مر گئے، علی اکبر جدا ہوا،
ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا۔ جب
داغ بن کے دل کو دکھائے پہ سر کا داغ، پھر کیسے کوئی باپ اٹھائے پہ سر کا داغ۔ کتنا شدید ہوتا ہے ہائے پہ سر کا داغ، دشمن کو بھی خدا نہ دکھائے پہ سر کا داغ۔ ہم نے پہ سر کا دیکھا ہے دم ٹوٹتا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا۔
عباس مر گئے، علی اکبر جدا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا۔
برچی کا پھل جوان کے دل سے نکال کے، ہم خون روئے اپنا کلیجہ سنبھال کے۔ جبرن سے لائے لاش کو کھاندے پہ ڈال کے، ہم لڑکھڑا کے گر پڑے لاشیں پہ لال کے۔ ہم پر یہ بے کسی کا ستم جا بجا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا۔ عباس مر
گئے، علی اکبر جدا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا۔
اکبر کی لاش اٹھا کے ہوئے بے قرار ہم، جب ٹھوکریں لگی تو گرے بار بار ہم۔ تھر پہ کبھی تو روئے کبھی زار زار ہم، عارف جوان بیٹے کے ہے سوگوار ہم۔ یہ درد زندگی کے لیے لا دوا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا۔ عباس مر گئے، علی اکبر جدا ہوا، ہم سے کسی نے یہ بھی نہ پوچھا کہ کیا ہوا۔ حسین
خاکراؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، قراؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ابن زہرا کے ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ابن زہرا کے ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، خاکراؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، جس مہینے میں لہو ریت پہ بچوں کا بہا، جس مہینے میں لہو ریت پہ بچوں کا بہا، آج اس ماہ غم و ہم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، آج اس ماہ غم و ہم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، خاکراؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، اس مہینے میں ہوا فاطمہ کا گھر تاراج، اس مہینے میں ہوا فاطمہ کا گھر تاراج، ماہ قتل شاہ عالم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ماہ قتل شاہ عالم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، خاکراؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، رات سے گریہ زہرا کی صدا آتی ہے، رات سے گریہ زہرا کی صدا آتی ہے۔ آج کیا ماہ محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، آج کیا ماہ محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، خاک و راؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، چا کر ڈالو گرے با سر و سینہ پیٹو، چا کر ڈالو گرے با سر و سینہ پیٹو، سوگوارو یہ ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، سوگوارو یہ ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، خاک و راؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، راؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ابن زہرا کے ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ابن زہرا کے ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ۔ زیارت